How much of this can people take into the daily events of their life as if to say that these things and events we noticed this evening are themselves portals. How much can a person experience while they're vacuuming a rug, or cutting wood, or doing anything? Musicians very often experience vast immensities of feeling, vision, recognition while they're playing their instrument. Can we do this while doing the ordinary things in life? I, for one, am dreadfully afraid of causing and participating in a division between work, our work naturally, and the daily round. My experience throughout years has been that many people consider work the morning exercise, a sitting here or there, a reading, events that are disconnected. And very seldom do I hear, while I was walking down the street, while I was taking out my dog, while I was washing my car, while my boss was presenting a new program, I have very much trepidation of that being increasingly so, till I think, that for many people there's a division between daily life and working moments. And that simply is not what I've tried to present. I think when the classical authors had presented the idea of this work being work in life, that they were tending more towards that. One or 2 months ago, I recommended an essay that's on the internet, The Brotherhood of Life, something to that effect. Do you remember the exact title? The Brethren of the Common Life. Which was very, very much what the fourth way is based on. People who wanted somehow to dedicate a large part of their life to inner philosophy, a brotherhood, but did not wish to actually sign up and become Jesuit monks or priests or anything on that order. They managed to put together a life which included daily round jobs, the same life that we have, that we experience. And everything that was done in the daily life was part of that inner testimonial. In the world of furniture, there were the Shakers, Quakers. These were groups of people who actually made very, very fine cabinetry and furniture. Really artistic things. They achieved their states and their inner world while working on lathes, while shaping wood, while building furniture that was too refined a piece of furniture to say, well, they were sensing or doing whatever interior work while they worked on a bench or something. This was extremely fine work. The Quakers would move in circles while they quaked and did movements. This was not only very serious to them, this was the foundation of their unity. This was the foundation of their inner work, all of it resulting in guilds and work on furniture. Many times I hear, well, I was working then, and I wasn't really working then. I was busy doing something. And for me, it's a red mark. It says, no, this is off. We never stop breathing. Our heart never stops beating. Blood flows through us. In that instinctive center, it's ongoing. I've had conversations with people. What do you actually do when someone comes into your office for one reason or another, or you go to their office, or whatever exchange takes place? Well, I try to sense myself. At that moment, I know that it's off. It's not happening. You don't try to sense yourself. We must work with the intensity of it's always going on. What do you actually do when someone comes in and says, can I speak to you a few moments about the electrical work on the top floor? At that moment, does the inner work, the imagery disappear? Then what is actually engaged in that conversation? One or two sleeping individuals? I can't be too affirmative in saying this goes on at every moment of our lives. As it is, the ordinary lifespan of man is extremely short for the amount of work that should take place. If we squander hours and hours and days not doing it, what are we here for? What are we in this kind of work for? Years ago, when we first met, We came into this work to do something. Then it was not unpopular to say, I'm here to develop a soul. I seldom hear that ever, except when I'm talking to myself. What are we in this type of work for? Had conversations like this throughout the years with many people. The most I can say is for me, because I don't know another person, and throughout the classical literatures, no one has ever mentioned in those terms that this is to find inner peace, to feel more relaxed, better health. To the best of my knowledge, it is none of that. And it certainly is none of that for me. We all have demons. I don't believe that your demons are that much different from my own. My demons do not take an hour off ever. Oh, no, 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 no. When I open my eyes in the morning, the demons are there in full force. They've been working through my dream states all night long. And they are not simple dreams like when I dreamt about my cousin Joe. Nice. I wish it were. They are ferocious dreams. First thing I must do is, oh, that damn cat is calling. Stop. Take the needle off. It's not a damn cat, it's my best friend. What took me over at that moment? I didn't want to be disturbed. And like that, it goes on all day long, every day of my life. Fighting the demons inside, fighting greed, fighting laziness, fighting selfishness, fighting anger. That is what I believe the work is about. Primarily about that. What happened when we used to think we're going to become man number 12 or 13 or 44 or 16 or something? I never hear that anymore. And suppose we, I, me, you, don't get a chance to do that in this life. And as they say, maybe there is or there isn't another one. I ask again and again, are the reasons we are here today the same as the reasons that brought us here? In retrospect, did we then, and to what degree now, are we here to clean up our act? Become friendly, become nice, become promotable, do all these things and have a nice home and 2 dogs and a cat and kids and this and that? I have no way of intimately knowing what's in each one's heart. But I know that certainly isn't my path. I read immense amounts of Christianity, Hebraic work, finding bits that are familiar, bits that are similar to the work we're doing, bits that are a different way of looking. Tonight it was mentioned that we're born in several parts. In some ideologies, quite acceptable that we are born with an earth soul and a heaven soul. That these two parts of ourselves seek a different reward, perform in a different action. The part that is called the body soul is interested in the things of the senses. The part that's called the spirit soul is not interested in the thing of the senses. And in many, many traditions and in many, many works, these two opposite parts are put into the same body, or the same mind, if you will. What is this battle that goes on between these forces? There I find hints of the neutralizing force that puts these two items to coincide, to make a peace. And that is the same third force that we've been reading about for 20 or 30 years. Yes, the sense soul, the spirit soul, and the equalization between them both. That's not Russia 1912 or somewhere in the Middle East 1890. How about going on to like the year 354? 13th century, 12th century, 1st century. Perhaps this entity is a guardian of some sort of premise that this must not be forgotten. It is one of our bodies or one of our minds that wants the daily round. And there is another part of our mind that wants the godly round. Again, a loose terminology. That is the part of ourselves that hungers for the unknown, hungers for the questions of why we were born, hungers for the question of will these thoughts reach to a universal thought, all those things that basically have nothing to do with employments, families, traditions, politics, or anything else. And, to me, it seems something that I must keep myself in front of, and I must help keep others in front of. We've been asked to do the work of the yogi, the work of the fakir, the work of the devotional, clearly written out, stated on page 1. To do that work and add to it the combination of joining it at the same time, not in the comfort of a cave somewhere, but on the comfort of the New York subway system. Where does a person's work go when somebody steps on their foot in the subway at 9 o'clock in the morning? Where does that part of ourselves go? Only you can know from yourself. That's the way I see work. And the knowing at each and every moment how ephemeral it is, how gossamer are these moments. I put aside maybe half an hour of every morning, not to sit with myself, because I seldom do that. My cat comes over, meow, jumps up. And in a voice, not in a thought, I thank her for spending the days of her life with me. I thank her for bringing me affection. I tell her I will not forget these moments, nor do I. She won't last forever. She's already an older kitten. I don't know which one of us will end first, but we won't both go at the same moment. Who's going to stay alone? I thank her again and again for taking these moments of that precious life and spending them with me. It's that fleeting. It's not a basic philosophical idea. Oh, someday this will all come to an end, you know. But that's what happened to you before me. No, this is very crucial, very real, very... When's the last morning? And in that time left, have we done what we are here to do, which is develop a soul? Oh my God, that's right. Who was it that said that? Oh, I was thinking about my car air conditioner. I'm sorry, gang, I don't have time to think of car air conditioners. And honestly, entre nous, I really don't give too much of a damn about cars, air conditioners, or anything else, really. People used to say, when you go to visit John Coltrane, you hear that he's home because you hear it out in the street. And John Coltrane would say, don't knock on the door, you hear the horn, means I'm home. If you don't hear the horn, I'm not home. He was playing that horn 20 hours a day. Can my work be as important to me as his horn was to him? It better be, or I'm simply not going to develop a soul. I've said 100 times, life is something, and here I'm speaking mine. Not everybody thinks this way, and maybe, fortunately, they don't. Life takes place, I have to squeeze it in. But life doesn't have room in my existence. It's work. Yes, have to do this, have to do that, have to do that. But that's not really, it's keeping me from my practice. John Coltrane also did the same thing. He had to go out and pay a parking ticket or this or that. And I know that he considered it, have to do it, this takes place in the world, but it's interfering with my practicing. The patience of my little dog Harry. Everyone knows Harry is 10 or 11. He still poops on the floor every day.
I think that's Jaja.
You think that's Jaja?
Yeah.
Both of them hang together and go to jail together. To what extent does that bother me? To what extent does that take away from what I feel for them? And I've got to say, hardly any. Hardly any. By now I expect it. If it doesn't happen, maybe there's something wrong with them. That's my life. And I hear someone say, well, I work about 15 minutes in the morning. There's part of me that really says, oh my God. Again, to demonstrate, if I can, how important this is in doing, not in thinking. Because I understand, I want it to be, I sit in the subway and say, may all these people be happier. And maybe it's working and maybe it's not. Maybe it's my own imagination. I don't know. I know when something happens in three-dimensional reality, it's really happened. I know when I speak to somebody, I'm really speaking, or I'm really listening, or both. The real world that requires that at each and every moment, the consciousness be there, doing something, not wishing, doing something in the way the person speaks, in the way the person listens, in the way the person walks. So much we've said about intent. Intent. What's the intent of your going to the office? What's the intent of your picking up the telephone? Where is the intent behind every action? Oh, I forgot. I didn't think of intent. I just did it. Phone rang, I picked it up. Hello. Yeah. Mechanical. The latest Electrolux vacuum cleaner. Hello, how are you? Good. Yeah, I'm feeling good. What's up? Doesn't fly. What's the intent? The aim.